Welcome back to our channel where we provide updates and undisclosed narratives on Catherine, Princess of Wales, and her royal family. We provide you with the exciting news, Duchess Sophie's daring statement by wearing new tiara shocked Camilla. An insider source has said that Queen Camilla's new tiara rules for women royals have been in place for the past 6 months. During that period, Camilla has been trying to collect additional tiaras from another royal woman's famous tiara. Because of this, there is a lot of fighting within the royal family. According to reports, Princess Anne is warning King Charles against breaking the late Queen's rules and protecting the royal legacy which named Princess Catherine and Princess Charlotte in the late Queen's will. People say that Princess Catherine and Duchess Sophie are quite unhappy with the new rule that Camilla made, which King Charles approved. The source mentioned this because of what has happened in the news recently. Duchess Sophie wore a tiara to a new event, which felt like a slap in the face to Queen Camilla. In this video, we'll find out why Camilla is so angry with Duchess Sophie, and why Duchess Sophie's choice confirms what she thinks about the future of the monarchy, which is Catherine's role as the head of the monarchy. A Tale of Tiaras, how the Duchess Sophie's choice of the state banquet shows how the royal family is changing. A single piece of jewelry worn by the Duchess of Edinburgh has led to a fresh look at the hidden power systems that exist inside the British monarchy. This study has shown that Catherine, Princess of Wales, who will one day be Queen of the United Kingdom, is slowly gaining more power. This study also shows how the roles of women in the current Windsor dynasty are evolving. A grand state dinner was conducted at Windsor Castle for the French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte Macron. From a diplomatic point of view, the event was quite important. The concert was meant to enhance the entente cordiale. It focused on togetherness tradition and the history that everyone shared. One of the statements that King Charles III gave as the sovereign host was on how deeply the two countries are connected. But even in the middle of the ceremonial toasts and the clinking of crystals, the unwritten language of royal protocol and symbolism was on full display. People who had seen the monarchy for a long time said that the real story of the night was written in stones and settings instead of words. When members of the royal family arrived, those who follow the royal family turned their attention to the beautiful tiaras worn by the senior female royals. These artifacts are more than simply accessories. They are important signs of history, favor, and rank inside the firm's complicated structure. Princess Anne, commonly known as the Princess Royal, opted to wear her famous and beloved festoon tiara. She has worn this item for more than 30 years, and it stands for dependability and constancy. Queen Camilla wore the George VI sapphire tiara, a gorgeous and historically important crown that Queen Elizabeth II had given her. She did this to show that she was the queen consort. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, on the other hand, made the biggest fashion statement of the night. The Duchess of Cambridge came with her husband, Prince Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh. She wore a bespoke white gown made by Susanna London. Her clothes made her seem understatedly elegant. She had 2 royal orders fastened to her dress, and the blue ribbon of the Royal Victorian Order hung over a sculpted sleeve. Her outfit was a great illustration of the royal commands. The tiara that was absolutely unique to the general public was the last touch on her attire. A lovely ring of diamonds with a wave-like design around a stunning aquamarine in the light of the palace lights. This was not a random choice from the Royal Vault's inventory. It is a well-planned event when a new tiara is shown off for the first time at a state banquet. This particular choice didn't only change the Duchess's look, it also transmitted powerful but subtle vibrations across the corridors of power. Royal pundits quickly saw the aquamarine tiara as a subtle yet important event. It was a visible symbol of Duchess Sophie's high rank, and more significantly, it was a strong message of her support for the future of the monarchy, which is represented by the Princess of Wales. In a household where diamonds are a sign of power, Sophie's choice was perceived as a lesson in soft power. The family liked this option since it unwittingly drew attention to the difficult and frequently dangerous situation that Queen Camilla is in. The following is the story of how one tiara revealed the hidden workings of the modern monarchy, confirming the rise of a new generation of leaders. The language of royal jewels encompasses more than merely decoration. To understand how important it was for Duchess Sophie to wear a tiara for the first time, you need to know how unique jewelry is in the British royal family. For many centuries, gems and jewels have been utilized for more than simply personal ornamentation. They have been employed as instruments of statecraft, emblems of lineage, and physical links to history. The crown jewels signify the king's sacred authority, but the private and inherited collections have a different function that is more personal but just as important. The royal collection is a huge collection of art and jewels that is kept safe for the kingdom and the monarch. This tradition is very important since it entails borrowing items from the collection. Queen Elizabeth II was quite good at this silent language. She never only picked out clothes for herself or loaned them to other family members. A tiara that was borrowed for a wedding was a public sign of support and approbation. A brooch worn to meet with a world leader might include a subtle reference to their country's national flower. When Catherine Middleton married Prince William in 2011, the Queen lent her the Cartier Halo tiara. Her father had purchased it for her mother. It was really basic, yet it had a very deep significance. Choosing this choice sent a kind and family message. When Meghan Markle married Prince Harry, she also borrowed the Queen Mary diamond bandeau tiara. This stunning Art Deco diamond hadn't been seen in public for decades, and giving it to the new family member was a big and kind gesture. The king or queen has traditionally been the one who decides who may enter these old vaults. Queen Camilla now has a lot of power over how these gems are given out since King Charles III became king. She has used the collection for her own purposes, most famously, by wearing the old Delhi Durbar tiara and the Boucheron honeycomb tiara, which were two of the late Queen Mother's favorite tiaras. It seems like Sophie's aquamarine tiara isn't directly tied to this line of loans, however. People usually think that it's either a private gift or a piece from her own collection that she may have changed from another piece of jewelry. But the exact place where the item came from has not been officially confirmed. It features a hidden mechanism that lets it be worn as a necklace, which is a clever idea. This feature shows how flexible and modern the product is. It's interesting that Sophie chose to show off a significant personal piece at such a high-profile event instead of borrowing a more well-known item from the main collection. The artwork that Sophie chose to show off was very important to her. This shows a certain level of independence and personal status. This gesture softly brings up a fact about the new reign. Camilla is queen, but she doesn't have complete authority over the personal choices and collections of other senior royals. Princess Anne, who has her own collection that she got from her mother, and Duchess Sophie are two examples of people who have some freedom when it comes to their fashion choices. In the months before her death, Queen Elizabeth II was said to have carefully stressed this issue, saying what she wanted to do with her personal jewelry collection. Her gifts were meant to be emotional, but they were also planned to make the future line of succession stronger. So Sophie's choice wasn't really a challenge to Camilla's power. It was more of a reminder of its limits. This option shows that true authority in the family comes from commitment and devotion, not just from having a title. The rise of Duchess Sophie, the unseen hero, behind it all. To understand why Sophie's tiara moment had such a big effect, we need to look at the person herself. It is a testament to her strong will, good judgment, and unwavering drive that she went from being a middle-class public relations professional to one of the most trusted people in the monarchy. Her full name was Sophie Rhys-Jones. She was neither an aristocrat like Princess Diana or a debutante with ties to the royal family like Camilla Parker Bowles. She came into the world in 1965. She grew up in a little village in Kent, with her mother who was a secretary and her father who sold tires. She possessed a secretarial certificate and what her co-workers called a happy knack of getting along with people. She started her career in public relations at Capital Radio and then started her own business, RJH Public Relations. In 1993, she met Prince Edward, the youngest son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. This encounter changed her life in a way that could not be undone. The announcement of their engagement brought the full might of the media to her door, even though their 5-year romance was generally kept out of the public eye, unlike previous royal engagements that had been marred by scandal. She was humiliated when a tabloid published a topless picture of her that had been taken years previously. She was also famously fooled by the fake sheikh, an undercover reporter to whom she made inappropriate comments about well-known people. Because of these early problems, her career as a princess may have been ruined. Instead, they ended up becoming important occurrences. Sophie left her business job and began the long, steady process of becoming a working royal with the calm, careful support of both the Queen and Prince Philip. They were said to be quite happy that their youngest son had chosen a stable and loving companion. The late Queen stated of Sophie, "You wouldn't notice her in a room," which was intended to be the highest compliment. Sophie learned how to be there without drawing too much attention to herself. She employed her expertise to make sure that people focused on the occasion or cause instead of what she was wearing. Her delicate attitude was one of the things that made her who she was. She has had a lot of problems in her personal life, but she has now dealt with them by putting them into her job in the public sector. It was hard for her to go through in vitro fertilization IVF. She suffered an ectopic pregnancy that may have killed her, and she almost died during the emergency cesarean delivery of her daughter, Lady Louise, when she lost 9 pints of blood. She had to have surgery to repair her daughter's esotropia, which she was born with. Later in her life, Sophie violated a long-standing royal rule by talking about her own experiences with menopause in public. His work as a patron is influenced by the deep empathy she gained from these experiences. She is a strong supporter of groups that aim to promote eye health, the air ambulance service that saved her life, and she has become an international leader in the fight against sexual assault that happens during conflict. In this area, her voice has been quite powerful, bringing attention to a humanitarian disaster that is generally ignored. In 2023, her hard work was recognized when she was named the new royal patron of Plan International UK, a global children's organization that works to protect girls' rights. King Charles gave her the title of Duchess of Edinburgh on her husband's birthday in March 2023. This was more than simply a display of love. The goal of this ceremony was to officially recognize her important contribution in making the monarchy more efficient. The title, which was so closely linked to her late father-in-law, Prince Philip, made her a senior stateswoman in the family. Queen Elizabeth II. Because of her new status, which gave her greater responsibilities and made her more visible, she was no longer required to bow to lower-ranking royals. When she went to the French state dinner and wore a tiara for the first time, it was like her new and higher rank was crowned visually. Sophie and Catherine are like sisters to each other. One of the most crucial parts of the narrative of Sophie's tiara is how deeply and permanently she is connected to Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Their relationship is sometimes described as sisterly, since they are both outsiders who married into the organization and have very similar ideas about their roles in it. This is because they both married into the organization. When Catherine Middleton became the Duchess of Cambridge in 2011, Sophie Middleton had already been a working royal for more than 10 years. She had more than 12 years of experience dealing with the ins and outs of royal life, so she became a quiet mentor and source of support for the new Duchess. Body language expert Judy James says that Sophie's interactions with Catherine frequently showed a semi-maternal level of watchfulness. This was a want to make sure that the younger royal was comfortable and at ease at ceremonial events. James said this in 2020. Shared experiences are the foundation of this bond. Both of these women came from stable middle-class homes that were not members of the aristocracy. Sophie and Catherine both met their royal husbands in quite normal situations. Sophie met hers at a charity event, while Catherine met hers when they were both students at university. They got a similar frame of view that isn't typical in the family, since they both lived a real life before becoming king. At first, both of them had a lot of trouble with the press, which sometimes became too much for them to handle. In 1993, Prince Edward asked the media to respect the privacy of him and his wife Sophie in a public statement. 14 years later, Prince William made a similar and strong remark against the paparazzi harassment of his then-girlfriend Kate Middleton. The comment was made because of the controversy. Because they had lived through the same storm, they were able to grasp what it was like to court a royal in a way that very few other people could. They are even closer since they have things in common that they like to do. Both of these people are huge sports fanatics who cheer for a lot of different teams. Catherine is the patron of the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club Wimbledon, while Sophie is the patron of the British Bobsleigh and Skeleton Association and England Hockey. Both of these groups are quite active. They are both very hands-on parents who want to have a regular schedule. They also love being outside. Sophie and Edward chose not to give their children, Lady Louise and James Earl of Wessex, the title of HRH when they were born. This decision was made so that their kids might have the chance to follow their own career paths. William and Catherine are trying to find a balance between doing their royal obligations and giving their 3 children a family-centered upbringing. Their sartorial collaboration has also been highly documented. They both love fashion that is both classy and easy to wear, and they have been seen wearing similar designs many times. Designer Donna Ida once said that Sophie bought one of her jumpsuits and then requested for the same jumpsuit to be bought for Catherine. In other words, Sophie had been a secret shopper for her friend. Stylists have noticed that Sophie's more recent dress choices show signs of Catherine's sophisticated taste, which shows that the two have an impact on each other. This bond is more than just emotional. It has also grown into a professional base that supports the modern monarchy. After Prince Harry and Meghan Markle left the royal family, members William, Catherine, Edward, and Sophie became known as the new Fab Four. They have been doing more and more events together, which has given the institution a strong and unified front. In 2023, the 4 people co-hosted a garden party at Buckingham Palace. As a group, they welcomed guests before joining the crowd. It seemed like they had worked together without any problems. So when Sophie showed off her new tiara to the world, it was perceived as both a personal statement and a show of togetherness. Sophie has been there for the Princess of Wales through a lot of health problems over the last year, including taking time off from public duties to get cancer treatment. By taking on more engagements and keeping a busy royal calendar, she has quietly added to her workload. Her continuous and clear support has been a continual source of strength. In this conversation, the tiara was more than simply a piece of jewelry. It was a sign of allegiance, a way for her to show that she is solidly on the side of the future queen, and it helped to make the line of succession more stable. The shifting sands show that things are changing at the top. Queen Camilla will have to deal with a new and delicate relationship since Sophie is secretly trying to take charge, and Catherine is always in the public eye. It is an over-the-top and dramatic claim to say that Sophie's tiara destroyed Camilla's authority. However, it would be a mistake to ignore the slow shift in the balance of power, which is the most essential story of King Charles's early reign. Camilla's route to the throne has been one of the most difficult and long in the history of modern royal succession. For many years, people thought of her as the bad guy in the narrative of Charles and Diana. She was a persona that was polarizing and received a significant lot of resistance from the common people. She has earned a lot of respect and acceptance from the public over the years by being patient and hard-working with her husband and showing that she cares about him and his duties. As queen consort, she has taken up her duties with grace and determination, fighting for her own causes, like reading and helping those who have been victims of domestic abuse. Still, she is now in a structurally dangerous scenario. The public, the media, and even the institution itself are mostly focused on the future, which is represented by the Prince and Princess of Wales. Even though she is the queen, this is the case. Catherine has a lot of admirers all around the globe. She is the monarchy's most valuable asset, a person who epitomizes glamour, relatability, and modern responsibilities. People who have seen the palace have noticed an underlying tension that is not obvious, but is there because of this interaction. Catherine was sick for a long time, and during that time, Camilla took on a lot of responsibilities and stepped up a lot. She had a lot of responsibilities for both her husband and her daughter-in-law. Catherine's delayed return to the public eye, on the other hand, caused people to immediately and fiercely concentrate their attention on her. This isn't about personal rivalry. It's about the seriousness of the situation for the institution. The heir and his partner, as well as their relationship, are naturally of interest to the public and the press. Also, the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II's last wishes is being handed down to future generations. It is well known that the late Queen gave Catherine a lot of her own jewels in her will. These gifts went to Catherine. Several jewels, such the George V festoon necklace and the Nizam of Hyderabad necklace, which is a beautiful design by Cartier and is said to be worth more than £60 million, were delivered right away to the new Princess of Wales. People saw this decision as an obvious and deliberate way to make Catherine the next queen of the kingdom. It was a symbolic passing of the torch that didn't include the Duchess of Cornwall at the moment. Because of this, the monarchy is now running on two distinct tracks at the same time. King Charles and Queen Camilla live at Buckingham Palace, which is a symbol of the current rule. Kensington Palace, which is now called Adelaide Cottage in Windsor, is a sign of the future. William and Catherine still live there. Many people around him are very loyal to him, but they also know that his authority is in many ways a bridge to his son's rule. Sophie's tiara moment fits quite nicely with this complicated picture. By bringing in a huge personal object, she was able to show her senior status and confirm her place in the circle of trust that William and Catherine had around them. It was an act that showed how strong and united the core of the monarchy will be in the future. It didn't hurt Camilla, but it did remind her that the new monarchy's power structure is more spread out than it seemed at first. The Prince and Princess of Wales are the most powerful gravitational pullers in this network of ties. The conclusion is that the monarchy is changing. Even while the French state supper at Windsor Castle will go down in history as a diplomatic success, the simple story given by a single aquamarine tiara may be what people remember most about it. Duchess Sophie made a wonderful and multi-layered statement when she chose to show off this stunning new garment. On one level, it was the best part of her amazing vacation that she had been on. It meant that she was a senior member of the royal family who was confident, respected, and needed. She was a duchess in her own right and a stateswoman for the organization. The tiara's modern and flexible form appeared to show how she saw herself as a bridge between the traditions of the past and the needs of a modern monarchy. It was also a major public show of support for and agreement with the Princess of Wales on the side of the Princess of Wales. This show of support helped keep the core of the monarchy stable and united throughout a year that was full of changes and problems for the royal family. It also showed how deep their sisterly bond is, which will be the basis for the future. Finally, the event revealed the new power structure that had been put in place in the House of Windsor. Even while Queen Camilla holds the highest title, it has been shown that the monarchy's center of gravity is shifting toward the next generation. A person standing doesn't decide how much power they have. Instead, they get power via hard work, public support, and a common goal for the future. Duchess Sophie has reinforced her role as a key architect of the future, standing shoulder to shoulder with the lady who will one day wear the crown. This is because of her humble work, and more recently this smart comment. The tiara did not make anybody less powerful. Instead, it shone a bright light on the place where the monarchy's real and enduring power is now centered. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for now.